What's happening, everyone? Another glorious day of streaming until MAINNET launch, coined by, I believe, Fu Finance yesterday in the chat. If you didn't catch the live stream yesterday with me and cryptographics, and then Axis Alive jumped in because it was necessary, that was super fun. Seems like every time me and Axis and even graphics these days get together, good things happen. So really like those guys. Really appreciate the information they bring and the utility and the calmness and the mindset. Actually, yesterday's stream was about Mad Gain's mindset, about not wrecking yourself. Essentially, you can be as early as you want in any crypto project. You can be day one Hex, day one PulseChain, all that stuff. But if your mindset's not right, you're going to sell too early. You're going to get fudded out. Can't win unless you get your mind right. So that's why I like talking about mindset, and we all get to grow from that. So anyways, this is Validator AMA. See, the chat's already a little spicy on other stuff too, but I don't know. I'll briefly address some of them. What's up, Hex Corner? How's it going? Yeah, today we're gonna talk about pruning, something that I was listening to the stream with Alex from Hedron on Power City last night. First time I've seen him go for a stream in forever. And I had him on my show last year early on, and it was fantastic. And I put out the invitation. Please come back on sometime. I'd love to pick this guy's brain. However, if he doesn't have time or doesn't want to, it's totally cool too. I get it. He's doing very important stuff. I don't want to take away from his time of actually capturing value in the ecosystem and helping us capture the value. So hopefully we can talk about some cool stuff today. Around that, and otherwise I will just go through the chat real quick. Dix Insider, bro, why is the Hex chart dying? That's not what I see. Seems like it went up on MAINNET time frame news and then it went back down. Seems alive. Looks alive last time I checked it. And just markets. So not concerned. Not concerned at all. Release Pulse now, says Tommy Valls. Well, could be any moment, like we've been saying, any moment for the last few weeks. Could be any moment within the next 6 days. Hopefully sooner rather than later. I just, interesting stuff going on. It takes around, I said yesterday, it takes 2 or 3 days to get your validator set up and all that stuff. You want to be as early as possible. So I would like earlier the better to launch, and especially with the Hex meetup going on in Miami. Oh, I was hoping that wouldn't overlap, so I'm still hoping that all the timing works out for that. 100x within 12 months, PulseX. Anything's possible, man. I don't give predictions, but anything's possible. Let's see. Yep. Not you again. What's up, graphics? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Dix Insider, you got a lot of comments, and I'm not sure how to address half of them because a lot of them are just, trading stuff. So, sir, this is Validator AMA, as I mentioned earlier. So, anyways, let's get into it. Probably go for a half hour or something today, this first part of the day, and we'll see what happens in the evening. I don't know. Maybe I'll come on again. Maybe I won't. I still plan to do the PulseChain launch plan part 3 AMA. So I've been waiting for a good time to do that. If I don't have any guests coming on today, I've put out some fillers. If I don't have any guests coming on, maybe I'll just do that. Or if I do, maybe I'll do it with them. We'll see. However, let me share my screen. And we will talk about, first of all, I'll drop this in the chat for anyone new, so you know what we're on the same page. And yeah, this is the link if you want to go to the repo. So this morning I was listening to Alex talk about pruning and stuff, and something I didn't know actually. So he suggested every 6 months, I believe, but let's do Geth pruning. And let's go to, put this in the chat. So if you're running Geth, if you're running Aragon, may or may not apply. They're pretty similar. So I'd say it does apply. Let's check on that real quick. Just gonna type in Aragon pruning, see what comes up. Yeah, probably the same thing, I'm going to assume, because it's just a fork of Geth. Yeah, probably safe to assume. Yeah, Aragon has a pruning option. You don't think the whole history. Anyways, let's see. Oh. So, by the way, CoinCashew, a lot of great information going on here. Actually, that mentions something. Aragon investing with prune automatically. Interesting. So that maybe that's an improvement. All right, I take it back. Maybe Aragon is a little different here. Works with Geth currently. Aragon and Besu prune automatically. Okay, so if you run Aragon, apparently it's automatic. But it's not a big deal anyway. 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 It's not a big deal anyways. So first, let's get some background information. So a snap synced Geth node currently requires more than 650 gigs of disk space for stored blockchain data. It grows by 14 gigs a week. It means Geth will rapidly run out of space on 1 terabyte hard drive, solve the problem without needing to purchase additional hardware. It can be pruned. So if you have a 10 terabyte hard drive, maybe you'll make it a lot longer, but it's kind of wasteful. Why not just prune every once in a while? So yeah, essentially, I was thinking about this morning, and I was going to do a script that basically stops Geth, runs the pruning, and then starts it back again. So there's a little bit of downtime. It sounds like for the validator, if you're going to stop the client, and then once you prune it, I don't know how long that takes yet. I know there's some estimates here, so I'm going to run it myself, see how long it takes, run on testnet, see how long it takes, and well, see, it's not a really good example either, because it needs to be running for a while to even know what it would take to prune that much. TBD how long it's going to take for the pruning to occur. But just why that's important, think about the downtime. Maybe it's a day of downtime. I don't know. Maybe you get penalized or whatever, but it's necessary to prune it. Wonder how Aragon handles that. I wonder if is Aragon able to do without downtime? Good question. I don't know. So there are, it talks about the different commands. Now seeing different stuff on how to do this. Okay, yeah, right here. So these are basically the commands. Stop. Point it at the data directory. This will be opt-geth data, I believe, on using the script. Let's double check that real quick. Error data directory is opt-geth data. Oops. And so you sudo to your user. So it's even assuming that you're running all the stuff as a different user. So let's be sudo node. If you use the node user, which is default in the script, Geth, point it to data directory, snapshot prune state, and then wait for pruning to finish. TBD how long that takes. Pruning could take 4 to 5 hours to complete. Okay, so I wonder what they're basing that off of. Is that like the maximum, or is it just an estimate based on how long they waited when they ran the pruning to see how much needed to be pruned? Interesting, but pretty simple stuff. But I'm going to make a script for it because I want to use the script. Other people can too. Win-win. Once again. So interesting process. Yeah, it's this talks about it. CoinCashew has a lot of excellent guides on a lot of different validator stuff. I used them before as reference, and that's what I was looking at this morning. Pruning, something I did not know or realize, but also in the script. Maybe not in the script. Maybe in the guidance. I'll show how to create a cron job. So a cron job. Let's look at cron tab. So it's the man page. By the way, on Linux, you can just type man, M-A-N, and then command or app or whatever. And a lot of times it will give you, if there is a manual page for it, which gets installed a lot of times by default with applications, it will tell you how to use the different stuff. You scroll up and down. Well, tab up and down, I guess. Yeah, this is probably too technical to go over. Let's see. Let me just do like cron tab. See, that's what I like to do. Shortcut. Cron tab Stack Overflow. So that way, Stack Overflow is a website where people ask dev questions all the time and upvoted answers, kind of like Reddit, but for dev stuff. Think about it like that. Much more concise format. And you can just type whatever you want to know about on Linux, for example, that and the Stack Overflow. So whatever you want to know, Stack Overflow. And it's kind of a shortcut to give you some of the top stuff that people are talking about. For example, on this one, using cron tab to execute a script every minute and every 24 hours. So you can just be like, okay, this is how I do it for every minute. This is how I do it for every hour, every 24 hours. What I want to run and the commands, it appears to be. And then you could run the pruning script. You could set it up You got to figure out, okay, here's a quick reference to figure out the difference format of the cron tab. There you go. So minutes, hours. So the first index, or 0 index if you're a nerd, minute, hour, day, month, week. And then examples. There you go. Each day at 6:30. Really, 18 to 6:30. 6:30. Oh, okay, 18:30. I see. Yeah, that's right, 18:30. So yeah, you gotta use military time, slang for 24-hour time. So 6:30 every day, right? Yeah, each day 6:30. Run this command. So I'll have examples for doing this too. But essentially, you would do this, but set it up to run every quarter, every 6 months or whatever. Or you could just set a reminder on your calendar to do it yourself. But if you want to automate it, / run the script, something like that. And then, how do you do cron tab as a different user too? Could be a way to do that. I'll figure it out though. And anyways, that's what I'm working on. Just wanted to show you that. And that's about pruning. I don't know of any other maintenance that needs to happen other than updating clients. The two maintenance things I can think of is if you're running Geth, do pruning. And then if you need to update the clients, which you'll need to when there's big events happening on the network, then you do that. So that's only two maintenance things I can think of. If you all have any other maintenance things you can think of, let me know. But that's what I can think of. So working on that this morning. See what other updates I do to the repo. I did add some stuff about how long it takes to sync. And I add some more FAQ stuff about adding more validators. Everyone seems very confused about. So okay, so I guess the two misconceptions about this repo, or the two questions I get asked that are people assume it doesn't work for, is one, will this work for stuff that's not on the cloud? And the answer is yes. The cloud is just your hardware somewhere else. So if your hardware's at home, the script still works. All my scripts still work on hardware on Ubuntu 22.04. As long as you got the OS, as long as you have the software portion right, hardware doesn't matter. As long as you meet the minimum specs, of course. And the other thing is people asking, like, how do you do multiple, can you update the script to do multiple validators? And the script doesn't set up your validators. You set up your validators afterwards by updating or telling it how many validators you want to run and all that stuff. So afterwards, it'll ask you how many do you want to run, how many keys do you want to generate. So that's there's a different part of the process. So the script will work on the cloud. Maybe I should update this and say on your own hardware or cloud. But I haven't tested on my own hardware, but it's, it works fine. I'm sure there's plenty of people have tested it already. But maybe that's confusing. I'm not sure. So the script works on your own hardware and it can do multiple validators. In case anyone's wondering. All right, gonna go to the chat. What's up? Crypto Truth. Imminence is upon us. Yeah. It is as imminent. It's been more imminent. Imminence has increased since yesterday's tweet of Sir Richard Hart. Godfather J6. What's happening, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. So with that, let's check on Richard's stuff real quick. This may be a short one if nobody has any questions. What did he tweet an hour ago? Go to hikes.com. Slow, loading slower than normal. Tired. Okay. Cool. If I wanted to make meme coins, I would make meme coins. If I wanted to make a coin, if I wanted a coin of myself, I would make a coin of myself. I haven't done things. Perhaps I do not want to do these things. If I wanted a coin of myself, I would make a coin of myself. I'm not sure what that means. Like a rich ticker. Wait, yeah, I'm not sure. I think he's talking about meme coins and stuff that doesn't have utility. MAINNET estimated to launch. That was big news yesterday, though. 12K likes. That's a lot of likes. It's got to be one of his top tweets. Just the relief of hearing that was pretty cool yesterday. What was once measured in years? Yeah, I was going to say, like, were we ever measuring in years? Who was measuring in years? But that's okay now. It's all good. Then months. I get the months part. The years, I'm not sure. I'm not sure anyone, even Richard, was like, yeah, this thing's going to take 2 years. In the beginning, at least. But the point of the tweet is it's measured in days. That's the point. Cool. Well, I guess this will be a short one, unless we got some questions. No, Warfield here. What's up, Warfield? How many validators is it possible to run from one machine using, sounds like the NUC 12. So let's look up the NUC 12. The answer is pretty quick. It is many, probably 100. After that, actually, if you got 64 gigs of RAM, maybe more than that. So apparently this is the machine that a lot of people like. Let me see, is there a way to get some specs? So it's selling for on Amazon, curious. So on Amazon, 12 core i5, 16 gigs of RAM. Can you get it in different, can you get it in 32? Ooh, i7. Yeah, these actually are. I understand why people, see, again, I'm not running home hardware, so I don't really pay attention to these. But let's see, how much RAM do we got? Doesn't say. i7, 4 gigahertz should be plenty of power for this stuff. Why are you not telling me the memory? Weird. Gotta assume it's have 32, doesn't it? Let's see, let's just type in 64. So 64 is, definitely over the minimum. 32, test network's fine. Okay, so here's one. Whoa, never mind. Way too beefy. Do not need that. Looks cool though. Let's see, Newegg. Yeah, way too, even that one, even at 3K, you don't need to spend 3K. Let's see what Newegg has here. So here's one, a NUC 11. She said NUC 12, we've got a NUC 11 here. 4 core i7, 64 gigs RAM. Yeah, this sounds pretty good as far as computer stuff go. As far as running it. Validator. Let's do a Validator Store. Does David have this stuff? I haven't really looked at it much. Wait, that's a website. Yes, looks like it. Let's see what he says is recommended hardware specs. Oh, he's just pointing to the GoPulse. So minimum 4 gigs of RAM? I don't know about that. I mean, obviously they know more than me, but I would not. I think syncing is the hardest thing. Syncing, I was doing like 9 gigs of RAM I was using. So I guess at full speed, that if you don't have 9 gigs, takes longer, I guess. 2 core, 1 terabyte. Man, these are like, I would not feel comfortable setting up with this. That is that is, yeah, it'll work, but 8 megabit service too. I think that could take like a week to sync if you're using this. I'm not sure. Feel free to correct me, but like that's going to take a long time. I would not recommend anyone do the minimum if that's the minimum from the dev team here. Recommended 16 gigs RAM, yeah. So I would say you can buy with 16 gigs. I think 32 or 64. RAM is not that expensive. Again, I would rather have too much than too little. I don't want to like have problems down the road. Performance SSD, yeah, still would go in 2 or 3 terabyte, 2 or 4. So what would I consider a high performance machine for a validator? Where it's like, okay, it's not too beefy. It's just enough where it could handle, I don't know, maybe even hundreds of validators. I'd say at least 100, 200, no sweat. Would be 64 gigs of RAM, let's say 2 to 4 terabyte hard drive. I'm leaning a little bit more towards 4 because why not? It's not that big a difference. And then, yeah, a very reliable internet speed. That's what you need to. You need to have good internet, because if you don't have good internet, that could cost you penalties and stuff. If you don't have a good machine, it costs you penalties. All this stuff is avoiding penalties. And then a fast CPU core, yeah, that could be a lot of different things. Could be the i7, could be the Xeon I've talked about on the wiki too. Let's go to hardware. So yeah, could be Xeon, Ryzen, 4 to 8 vCPUs, quad core. It could be 3, 4 gigahertz, whatever. Cool. And then let's see what else we got on Validator Store. So this is the 12. Okay. So there's a NUC 12 with i7, 64 gigs of RAM. Yeah, this is more than enough. This is a beefy machine that I would not have to worry about. I like this. That's a cool kit. I'm going to add this to the wiki too. On the hardware side, be like, David Feeder has solved your problems, people. Yeah, so David's got it. And then how much is this? How much do they cost? How to order? Oh, 2,000. Oh, wow. Okay. So 2,000. So that's why, I mean, the specs are pretty awesome. So yeah, within 2,000. So 2,000 is like going to get you a machine that I wouldn't have to worry about any of this stuff. Oh, it comes with a portable monitor too. That's cool. I like that. There's got free tutorials here. Yeah, so he linked his videos in his validator GitLab. So definitely that one. But if you didn't want, I think you would spend less than that as well. But hey, if you don't want any problems, this looks like great. But I'm sure I've seen people talk about $400 or $500. I'm like, I'm not going to do 16 gigs of RAM. I like to give myself a little bit of room. 64, good stuff though. David's providing an awesome service here. Giving you a kit. It's already got a Ubuntu there. It's got your wireless keyboard and mouse, portable USB monitor. Yeah, I guess that's part of the cost too, the monitor. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. $1,200 best option. Yeah, could be. What's your go-to hardware for node setup? Well, I'm using the cloud. So I'm using a M2 2X large. So if you look at what that is, 4 vCPUs, 32 gigs of RAM, and and a 2 terabyte hard drive that I'm attaching to it. So that's what I'm using in the cloud. And I got guides on how to do this. If you want to do it in the cloud, let's see. Yeah, AWS Cloud setup. And you go to this doc, and this doc will show you how to create an account, all that stuff. Obviously more complicated. I've been using AWS forever for stuff, but more complicated than doing your own hardware. But I think I like it for security too, because I don't have to secure. Again, if you want me to elaborate, go to Security AMA. I go through all this stuff. But I like having someone else manage the electricity, someone else manage the network. I like offloading that. So there's some security advantages to doing it in the cloud versus at home. Trade-off security for decentralization. You could say it like that. So if you're interested, check that out. And then you can spin up some to play with for free and learn. There's a free tier option. So check that out too. Cool. LMS, what's your strategy upon launch or getting involved in farms and pools? Thoughts on INC token? So Cryptographics did a great video on INC token recently that I tweeted, so you can check that out if you want a long form conversation about it. I like INC token. I like all Richard's token, so why wouldn't I like it? I think, yeah, I definitely could see myself getting involved in the farms and pools earlier the better. Before you're going to get a bigger piece of the pie if you get in earlier, right? Same thing with Validator. You get more APY the less people are in the pool. So getting in early, and specifically the validators and the pools to earn incentive token seem like a good thing to do, but it depends on how much you have. If you don't have a whole lot, you kind of got to pick and choose where you put your money, where you're going to get the best deal. The whole idea of this ecosystem, the whole idea of why the API, got increased so much for V4, the whole reason there's an INC token is to incentivize people to do this. Give me a reason to put my money at this place. Give me a reason to provide liquidity. Give me a reason to help secure the network. So I'm going to be looking around seeing who's giving me the biggest reason to do what. For me, I think the best things in my position that I can do with my bags and otherwise is to pools, participate in the pools and participate in validating. That's based on my own personal situation. Warfield, how long does it take until someone will build a Lido version at PLS in order for people to delegate sysadmin jobs with Validator? I don't know what Lido version is. However, this makes me think of Rocket Pool that Alex from John keeps talking about. So I think, let's see. Let's look at Rocket Pool while we're here. Let me click on the staking overview. So with Rocket Pool, introduce you how staking with Rocket Pool works. Before getting Rocket Pool, let's talk about Ethereum staking, merge. Okay, we get all that. We get staking, how Rocket Pool works. Unlike solo stakers who are required to put up 32 ETH, Rocket Pool nodes only need to deposit 16 ETH per validator. This will be coupled with 16 ETH from the staking pool, in which stakers deposit in order to receive RETH. Oh, interesting. To create a new Ethereum validator. New validator is in the mini pool. Okay, interesting. So as a Rocket Pool staker, your role is to deposit ETH in the deposit pool, which will enable node operator to create a new beacon chain validator. You can stake as little as 0.1 ETH. Huh. Okay. So yeah, it sounds like you put up even less to do this. And then, interesting. Yeah, it's basically kind of collateralizing validator stuff. So yeah, you don't need separate hardware to participate in stuff like this, which again, all the stuff on Ethereum that people like and are useful, we need on PulseChain, that same experience. So it does not surprise me that maybe Alex is going this angle. But he also mentioned ICOSA being the insurance token, which is insurance. They talk about this too. At the RPL. So insurance. Amount of RPL token expressed in percentage of the value ETH provided by the protocol as node operating is deposit when they start the mini pool is staked. The RPL insurance staked by the node operator will act as insurance to reimburse regular use in the event the node X without staking exits with less than 16 ETH. Interesting. Okay. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm excited to learn more about Rocket Pool and how that would work. Ooh, if Alex comes on the show, I'm definitely going to ask him about it. So he would be the person to make all this make sense. I'm sure we'll be talking about, otherwise too, but RETH. Okay. Yeah, it's the first time I'm reading in this stuff. Just kind of. Interesting. Collateral against slashing for node operators. Yield. Okay. Voting power governance. All right. Interesting. Cool. Let's see what the chat says. What's up, T-Rex? What's happening, man? Good to see you. Lido's mass taking pool validate. Oh, cool. Okay, so Lido, well, we'll look that up in a second too. Paul says, RETH is no brain play. Always hold a premium to ETH. Okay. He mentioned Icosa use case for Rockable Fork. How to connect to Icosa any clues? I mean, it sounds like it's going to be a token instead of the, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's instead of the RPL. Maybe that's it. I'm not sure. To get a validator at AWS, are you paying $250 per month? I don't know yet. I don't have a lot of stats because I've been spinning up different servers and stuff, so it's kind of hard to separate. But what I've seen seems like it's going to be a few $100s. I said before around 400. It could be plus or minus 50%. I don't know. So it could be on the lower end, hopefully. But I've been doing so much. I've been spinning up so many servers. It's like it's hard for me to get a good metric. So 1, 2, 3 months after validating on MAINNET, I'll be able to see like, oh, this is how much it costs. But it's a few $100s. I don't have a good estimate right now. RETH chart mimics t-shirt chart. Interesting. I mean, dude, if Alex is going to do it, if Alex is going to do something, sounds bullish to me. Sure, we'll understand more about it the farther we go. What's up, PMS squared? PM squared. There we go. Glad to hear PulseChain is going to launch soon. We are very glad to hear that. So glad Richard got 12K likes on the post the other day. Is SAC address staying in stables for the fork? Is the SAC address staying in stables for the fork? Oh, interesting. I don't know. I haven't heard any updates, so I'm sure we would know if there's any moves happening. That's an interesting point, though. If it, biggest holder of DAI, people speculated, would they bridge it over for DAI to be a stable coin? Is that some thoughts from that? It's been a while since we talked about it. I wonder. So I guess two things. That's a great question. Actually, I'm going to write that down. I want to have a deeper conversation with people about it. Great question to ask somebody who I can riff with on it. It's, I have some ideas, but I think I need someone else to be like, kind of balance it out. Graphics would be a great person to talk about this. Graphics, if you're still there, let me know. Not that you have to come on right now, but if you're seeing this would be a good question. If you're planning on diving into it too. Any tips or advice we appreciated on PulseChain launch? Well, I may do a PulseChain launch plan AMA number 3 tonight. So I would tune in for that or catch the replay if I do it. It's either going to be today or tomorrow, I suspect. But schedule's kind of up in the air right now, so we'll see. If I do it, it'll be probably 7 p.m. Eastern. Paul says that Coast will be an entrance to collateral used in the Rocket Fork. Yeah, I mean, anything that makes it get used more or staked, it's, again, anything Alex does bullish. So I don't know all the details yet, but that sounds cool. RETH is what Rocket Pool is using. So, and STETH is the testnet Ethereum ETH on Sepolia network. It's been so long since we were bridging over Sepolia, right? Just about forgot. I have a whole guide. I wrote a whole doc on how to do it. About forgot about it. What's the fraction PLS you'll use for validating, LPing, and buying anything else long-term hold? Good question. I try not to talk about specifics for my bags, but definitely that seems like a reasonable plan to kind of divvy it up in different ways. So if you SAC for PulseChain and PulseX, then I think a lot of the APY. Again, if you have enough to spin up multiple validators and all that stuff, you get a lot of the early APY validating. So you can set aside part of your bag for that. And people may also set aside part of their bag for LPing during incentive token. 3, buying anything incentive token. Oh, okay. So picking up dip. Yeah, so actually that's a good point. Setting some, you may also set some aside, not financial advice in any way, I'm just talking about theoretical stuff. Set some aside for dips, maybe community coins too. Like what if Hedron goes way low? What if, a lot of this stuff depends on liquidity too. So it's kind of hard to see. It's not like there's this big event that's causing a big dip. It's not like that where there's already liquidity pools that are there and mature and all that. This is who's going to want to trade, who's going to want to get that ratio. So I'm not sure there's going to be no brainer like, oh my gosh, I got all this coins for nothing, because the other side of that's they're trying to look for a deal too. So you got to keep that in mind. But having dry powder or coins you want to trade for other stuff that you believe is going to be good long term or short term, whatever your plan is. And then for a long term hold, that would put that in the category of like hold storage. So maybe people seeing 10% immediately to a cold storage. So if worst case ever happens, I still got a tenth of my stack somewhere that I can't touch for a while, or it's hard for me to touch all that stuff. So yeah, good question. Do you also plan to turn your liquid EHEX into PX? Again, I not specifically talking about what I'm going to do, but the act of turning your liquid EHEX into PX, I don't know. I'm just happy to see my stakes copied over. I'm happy to see good deals. So if there's dry powder, if people have dry powder and Hex does dump, I mean, that's the thing. There's only winning. Like if you really think about it, everything that you don't want to happen, think about why you don't want it to happen. Is it because you're not prepared to take advantage of it? Or it's just not part of the plan? Because anything that happens, if there's a dump, there's opportunity. You can win when it dumps. You can win when it pumps. But you got to kind of like put yourself in the mindset of like winning no matter what. So if Hex dumps, PulseChain dumps, PulseX dumps, people are going to find a way to win. If it pumps, they're going to find a way to win. So I think just having like framing it in that way, instead of like, oh my gosh, what if Hex goes down? Not that you're doing this, just in general. Or, oh, I need to get into this other coin. I'm going to look at what's going on and I'm going to make decisions. Or say, hey, I don't like it. I don't like any of these. None of these are good deals. So anyways, back to Lido real quick before we wrap up here. Lido Ethereum? How do I even search for that? Lido staking. Okay. Biggest Ethereum pool, global community. Differ. Yeah, I'd like to see a rocket pool versus Lido. Do they have that? Where's calculator? Let's do Lido versus rocket pool. It's really good to do comparisons of other products so you can better rationalize about what each one have. Here's a pretty recent one. Reasons why people dislike Lido. It's bad for Ethereum because it's centralized a lot of stake. Okay, let's skip that one because it's not. Unless you're a decentralization, unless you're optimizing everything for decentralization, like that's not going to mean a lot to you right now. Or for PulseChain. The first point results in significantly lower tail risk for Lido compared to Rocket Pool. Okay, very few people handle high amounts of stake. Even small mistakes have large impacts. Lido's liquid staking token is primarily tiny amount of collateral backing it. Okay. Other hand is 100% collateralized. Means a scenario when all staker ETH gets burned to be running. Okay. Lido was first to market the lazy approach, second huge amounts of stake, completely disregard decentralization, had very large market share. Okay, so mostly about decentralization with a few kind of rocket pool has better stuff a little bit here. Not a lot of nuance there. There's people with fear of centralization. Okay, here we go. If you own more than 1/3 worse than 2/3 stakes before we did. Okay, can we get past that? Can somebody just tell me like the service itself? Let's throw capital person. Second biggest difference might impact you more directly. Lido's STEs pays out my RPs. Oh, is that what you're talking about earlier? Is that STEs? Sorry, whoever was talking about that earlier. I thought you were talking about Sepolia ETH, testnet stuff. Pays out interest while RPs gets more valuable compared to ETH. Okay, so this is something that's actually useful to know about. Pays out interest while it gets more valuable compared to ETH. And that's what Paul was alluding to as well. Cool. Well, now we know a little bit more about that. All right, everyone. I'm going to wrap it up. Cool. You fixed it. I was like, what'd you fix? And then now I see it. Okay, PM squared. I will definitely be definitely a lot easier to say it now, but you didn't have to do it for me. I just, cool. If you have any idea when it would be possible to actually de-risk into fiat, I mean, when the actual bridge will be available, that's when the bridge will be available, it sounds like. The simple answer is when a bridge is available, you'll be able to get into a stable coins. We hope at that point, there'll be stable coins to get into that will either be backed by their counterparts or the protocols will launch and they'll work and have liquidity for. So I wouldn't expect to be able to do anything interesting as far as off ramps until the bridge. And then, yep, so lots of players. I've talked about this before, different people. Liquid Loans, Power City, 0x Coast, a few there. But then people are backing other stable coins. Maybe some pulls for that too. That can you can take across the bridge and be redeemable. Not showing us how to check the certificate registration for MAINNET. I talked about that the other day. So if you search for, gosh, when did I do that? All right, I'll do it real quick. So I use a different service than what I'm about to show you, but this is the easiest way to demo what I'm talking about. I wish I'd say the URL now. This one. I remember if it's this one or not. Well, maybe this will do it for you. There's different services that will give you alerts and stuff too. Whoa, these look like updates. Interesting. I'm glad you asked about this. I'm glad you asked. Everyone watching right now, this is an update. This is an update. Glad you're here, Mr. Moon Silver. So this is stuff I've been looking for. Now we know what the RPC is going to look like today. RPC, the WebSockets, I believe it's RPC checkpoint. Now we know what these are. Now I can actually start working on the MAINNET script a little bit now that it looks like we can see a lot of this stuff. So these are updates. These were not there the other day. It's missing a couple that I saw that my service looks at, but these are pretty cool. This means these are there. This is the public information I was talking about that is relevant, that you can tell when we're getting closer. That happened with V3 and V4 as well. So here you go. We are close. Now, what does this mean? Does it mean it's within a day, 2 days, 3 days, 6 days? Hard to say. I think for V3 and V4, they all happened within a few hours to a few days. But this is definitely an indicator. This is saying, hey, we're going to start rolling this stuff out. So this means that we've got certificates for these URLs. Now, I don't see anything for PulseX yet, but I see, RPC stuff, checkpoint stuff. Let's just check and see if it's live. I would freak out if it was, but yeah. So the website, the server is not responding yet, but it means this is saying, hey, we have a certificate, we have DNS stuff for this now, and we're closer. Very cool. Very cool indeed. The 30 people watching, congratulations. You got to see something that was very unplanned and I had not even thought about doing before I tweet it. I'll probably tweet that afterwards. Very cool. Nice news indeed. Nice news indeed. Thank you, Mr. Chuck. Thank you for the kind words and showing up, and appreciate that. Market Valley shifters, rocket ship. Yep. What's up, free speech? I know, man. I know. It's really down now that I saw that. I'm too, sir. Yeah. Good question again. All right, last question. Seriously. Brandon B shows up and asked me one too. Okay, no more questions. I seriously have to go. Manny says, how do you find about migrating from test mainnet when you don't have resync everything? No, I did not. So I was actually working on this. Great question. I was working on that and I was asking around, and it doesn't look like there's a way to do that. You got to sync from scratch. I don't know of a faster way to do it, but I would, if anyone has a faster way of doing it, let me know. But you can't reuse the testnet data. You can't start from that. You got to, I'm just going to wipe my server and go clean. And you can't back it up now and then use it for mainnet that I know of. There's not, so I still feel like there's a technical way of doing that. If we knew when the block fork height was, maybe something to do with it there, but it's just not worth, I don't think it's worth doing. I mean, just, it shouldn't take that long if you have good bandwidth to sync anyways. Just make sure you have good bandwidth, good hardware. Brandon B, Snapchat already happened in your opinion? Seen different opinion on Twitter? I don't know. I'm still sticking with, I think the snapshot, aka the black fork height, which is not technically a snapshot, but it's, we can use the language in this way just to think about it, of like when the network will start. I still think it'll take place close to launch. And I don't know when launch is, so I can't tell you when that would be, but I think it'll still take place close to launch. It's got to be the same day, in my opinion. I shouldn't say it's got to be. In my opinion, it'll be the same day at least before launch that the block fork height will be, they'll pick. That's speculation. I'm going to stream. I know, man. Good job. Pabalaba. You got some cool stuff going on. All right, everyone. That's all I got for you today. Glad I went live. I was thinking about it. I was like, should I not go live this morning? But I'm glad I did. Got some good questions, learned some stuff myself. Everyone, check me out on Twitter. I'm about to tweet about this. You witnessed a cool moment. Scivive 5555. I'm out.